I have about 120 different commercial quarried stones, and in order to keep track of them and remember what I've got, I cut 1-inch strips of each. And sometimes when I get a different batch, or if there's variations within a batch, I cut several. This, for example, is some Jerome travertine from Mexico. So I have that. I have it numbered and dated. And then when I'm looking for it, I can look down in my cabinet where I have the commercial slabs. And these are my Jerome pieces that are ready to go. And then in these drawers I have some specimens that I inlay into pieces. I have laid out here samples of every semi-precious lapidary stone that I have in stock. And I have them in color order from yellow to gold to red to orange to blue to green to purple to black. Just so I can see what I have. So when I'm working in the studio, I can say, well, I need some of this, and how will it go with that? So this is some rhodonite from Sunnyside, Colorado, and this is some thulite from Wyoming, which also has jade in it. The green is jade and the pink is thulite. And then, if I want to see how much of this I have in stock, I look on the back and I say, see the label, green, pink, jade, thulite. So then I go over to the cupboard and I have a box called green, pink, jade with thulite. And I see that I have several slabs that are nice sized. They're all different because they're lapidary. They're not from quarries, they're cut from rocks. When I want to use a fossil in a piece, either in a sampler or in a piece that's just fossils, I have quite a few in stock. Here's some ammonites. But you can see that they're all irregular shapes. So when I want to cut one, I use a template. And then I can just draw, in this case on the black shale, I can just draw the shape around. And take it into my saw and trim it. So now I'm going to grind to make these square edges round. This new piece is unusual because I normally don't use translucent material, but this amethyst you can see through, and so we're going to put it on. We've made a slit in the wood with lights behind it where the amethyst will sit, so we can enjoy the beauty of it. So this is called River of Light. It's the first piece we're done like this. This piece is another one of my primordial landscapes, and most of the pieces have been glued and grouted. And now I'm going to adhere the final pieces, the specimens that will not need to be grouted. So I will be using these concretions called fairy stones from Canada and putting them one by one in here. And when I finish gluing those, I will be adding these donuts. These are lapis donuts that have been cut and will be set like this along the top of the concretions. This is a different type of piece than I've ever done before. These are all rustic elements that we collected in Utah. So they're not all beautiful, nice, polished stones, which I usually use. So I thought this would be fun to try to combine some of these and make a very rustic looking landscape. I've started working on a geologic map of Texas, and to do that I first get a geologic highway map, which is a simplified version of the geologic map of Texas, and then I get it enlarged to the size I want, which is this. It's 34 by 34, and now I'm collecting the specimens that represent different parts of the state. These, of course, will be trimmed to the correct size and cut and ground however I need to do. But so I'm in the process right now of getting the specimens I need before I work on cutting the stone slabs for the map. I have a client in Arizona who wanted me to use some material of his for a piece I was doing. So he gave me some of this pink marble from the Mission Copper Mine, where he's the mine manager. So we got several boulders of this, and then we needed to cut them into slices. So we have a slab saw that we mount the pieces in.
It's an 18-inch diamond blade. It's a Raytech slab saw. So Susan says what the orientation of the rough cut rock is to get the best pattern, and set it up in the chuck, and it's on a carriage that is power driven, drives the stone into the blade. You can vary the speed, you can control the depth of cut here. Once the carriage completes the cut, the slab will fall off to here and automatically shut off the machine.
Here are some slabs that we've cut off that piece recently, and now they need to be polished. You can see they're very dull.
This is a Makita wet polisher. It has a Velcro attachment for the different grits of diamond embedded polishing wheels. You'll notice that the coarseness gets finer and finer. It basically doubles with every pad, and so you start out with whatever coarseness you need, and that just fits on here. And it takes about 10 to 20 minutes for every grade level to get the polish that you need. So turn the water on, shoots out the middle, power on.
So after we get a slab of marble polished like this, we can cut it into shapes and put it into this piece. This is some special material from Australia that a friend cut, and it's all different heights. This, commercial stone is all the same height. So, for example, on this blue sky, you can see that some of it is very thin, so we have to compensate by putting these lifters to make it the same height. And then on the other pieces, they're thinner and thicker, and I want them to be emphasized differently, so I will be lifting up, say, the snowy peaks. I'll lift those up higher, and so here's where these are going to be lifted with shims. So, and then as I go down the mountain, these will be as low as possible, so there's no need for any shims down in this part of the piece. Over the years, I found an art form that combines my fascination with the unconscious mind with my love for stone. It's been an interesting journey from my first piece, Captain Nemo Takes Flight, to my most recent commission of 352 pieces. Every step of the way has been a learning process, and as I continue to finesse these techniques that have evolved over the last 18 years, I will continue to grow and stretch the limits of stone mosaic.